we are going to first introduce our plan. We plan for a third grade for primary schools, and we also analyze the contents and the thematics units suggested for segundas lenguas, and we chose the unit 2, which is called Count on Me. And so therefore I'm going to share the screen. And so the language function first is communicating ideas using connectors, and the language content, find it here. And the language function content is describing a character. Let's see if I can open it. Here. The content is la descripción de dibujos animados. Okay, so here we can see the vocabulary that we planned for a lesson that we don't need to teach vocabulary because they did it in previous classes. Probably we can reinforce it if we see that they don't remember much of the vocabulary, and the exponents or language that they are going to use are these three, mostly these three expressions. The question, what is she wearing, and she's wearing or he's wearing, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, the methodology is, we can say that it's a communicative approach, because the content of the lesson is related, is appealing to them. They are going to react to the text. We should also mention that this lesson is mainly focused on a receptive skill, reading. And for the last part of the lesson, we have to only talk about the first part of the lessons, but for the last part, they are supposed to react to the text and exchange, compare with their production with their partners. So we can see that it's a communicative because of that. So, okay, now we move on to Fernando. Okay.
Hi there. We were going to talk about the students or learners' characteristics. That was the word. Well, young learners, as we know, or we should know, they get bored quickly. So the activities should be engaging, because if students are not interested, they will get bored easily. They have a limited attention span, so they have to be active. That's why Alexander said when we were discussing that most lessons with young learners are teacher-centered, because they need to be engaged and to be guided. They can't have their own, how can I say it, work without a guide. They have to be paying attention and how to be with use task. That is why is this the meaning oriented. They may understand that things through the teacher, by modeling, by imitating things. They also like to discover things. They are characterized by curiosity and enthusiasm. They also prefer concrete activities. That what I was saying. According to Piaget's cognitive development theory, young learners are still developing. So they are still making their way to concrete to abstract things. They are more egocentric also. They prefer to talk about themselves and focus the activities on themselves. They are also imaginative, a lot, really imaginative. They have a great imagination. That's a part that they really enjoy. Be creative and use imagination. And they also imitate a lot. They imitate adults. They imitate the teacher. Children acquire communication skills through social interactions. So teacher must produce or deliver activities that shouldn't take more than 10 minutes to complete, asking students to make an effort to concentrate. The content should be interesting and motivating to keep them engaged. The topics should be focused on students' life and real life based, maybe. Praising the children's performance is really important also. Since they imitate the students, the latter should be a good model of language and the use of social behavior because they are active. They also respond to meaning, picking up language structures through listening and reading and unconsciously and unwittingly, right? It's not a directed teaching. They also like playing. This is a big, an important part of their learning. They discover things, they use their imagination, they play, and they acquire knowledge through playing games. Another thing is that lessons should be colorful, to say it in some way, and spacious enough to be able to move around without any problem, because they also like to move. They can't stand still or for long periods of time. They also should like to work in groups. And of course, the environment should be stress-free and anxiety-free space, no, and an atmosphere. Those are some characteristics of young learners. And one of the reasons why teaching young learners require highly skilled teachers is that these learners have difficulty understanding abstract concepts. So while teaching them, an appropriate learning atmosphere should be provided, and they should move around, interact in a free stress environment. That was I was saying, because if the classroom is not well organized and managed, they may be not controlled in some way. So children are based on social behavior. They have to get used to routines and making habits that they are going to improve in the following years. Those are some of the characteristics that differ from adults or teenagers.
Mm-hmm. Yes, for example, we can see, yes, we were discussing before that, while preparing this lesson, that there are probably two clear differences between teenagers and young learners. Is that young learners need more the use of routines, especially at the beginning of the lessons. That's why they have always a greeting part and a warm-up, because they need to get like a mindset that, okay, now we are going to start English. This is a different lesson. And in this lesson, we can see the routines in writing the date, starting with a song. That the song is, because I'm going to explain why we chose these materials. The warm-up is a warm-up, is to get them move. That is one of the characteristics that Fernando was mentioning, that they enjoy moving. So the warm-up has some movement, body movements, because it is very repetitive, and also revises the vocabulary. The song says more or less, put on your shoes, your shoes, your shoes. And so the teacher and the students can do the movements as if they are putting on those different clothes. So that is something that you have to do with young learners. the routine at the beginning of the lesson. That probably we. So another thing that we have to also make clear here is that we were discussing before. It's not that this class or the classes with young learners are more teacher centered, but the difference is that they need a lot of more input probably than teenagers, because they are just beginning, and most of that comprehensible input comes from the teacher. That's why in this lesson we can see that the teacher is all the time working. He plays the warm up, the song, but also is singing and moving with the children. Then he is introducing the topic. He's showing an image gradually, so they can guess what the topic is going to be about, who the character is going to be, but he's acting and participating, speaking all the time. That's why we were discussing before that, and this is because they are less autonomous than teenagers, that the teacher is all the time probably speaking more than at high school. We shouldn't say that this is teacher center, but it's more teacher input, like the teacher is providing much of the language. This material is, we chose this material, this character, because the content, the content is la descripción de dibujos animados. So we chose a cartoon, a movie, a film that is appropriate for children, and that is very recent, new, and they have they enjoy this movie. It's called Turning Red. So it's going to be enjoyable. It has music, as Fernando was saying, they enjoy moving, and also music and colors, all they learn through all the senses, and they enjoy it. Something that with teenagers, probably they are more inhibited for, they feel awkward for when dancing or moving, but with small children, it's different.
Totally.
Yeah. And why another part that we chose material? Yes, we mentioned the warm-up is a video about clothes, and also about something that you can write about the weather, because in the video the teacher can say, for example, okay, so in the video, how was the weather, or what was the day like in the video? It was cold and sunny, so but how is the weather now? So he writes the date and how the day is like, what the day is like. Another chosen for this material, yes, the texts. The texts are not authentic, because for this character we could have chosen a description of the character from a wiki. Those web pages where fans of the cartoons, they write descriptions, but the level would be too higher for them. So we wrote the three models of text for this activity. So it's not authentic, but the original, the source is original, which is the movie, and then the text have been graduated by the teacher. The level is lower. And yes, and obviously the text is about descriptions about clothes, about clothing, so it is suitable. It has a purpose. Okay, and now we move to Herman, who's going to say why this would be enjoyable for young children.
Okay, well, as you said, Fernando, and well, Alexander also, children are not like teenagers, so you need to do something that, or present them something that it's really how can I say it, something that they are used to, and they are children, so they love to draw, right? So here we have an activity where they need to draw. The thing here is that it's not like, oh, okay, we have 5 minutes left, draw something. No, they will draw something related to the lesson, because they will draw this May, but with a different clothes, right? So this is interesting because they always like to draw, paint. Then the part when they show what they draw to the teacher and the class, because they are if you have children or something, you know that they always like, especially the part when they feel how is the word, proud of what they made. So that it's really good for them and for their learning in English, because they that also motivate them, because um, it's not only about learn and learn and learn. They need to have fun while they are learning. And again, they love to draw and show what they did. But also, it's how can I say it? It's interesting for them because they are also drawing something that they saw, like a cartoon they saw, that it's I will repeat myself, but something that they are used to, because they are okay. If they watch a movie about, I don't know, Shrek, for example, they will draw him. So here's the same. They saw, sorry, the video of Turning Red. Oh, okay, they draw this character, which Fernando is showing on the screen, and also I think that this is important because they interact with each other also, because they, when they are showing what they draw, the their partners will say, oh, I like it, they will participate, and that's motivating for them, because they always want to talk, to interact with each other. So I think that this kind of activity, it's really really good for them, because it's motivating, funny, and it's also related with the topic of the lesson in this case. uh, and I think that that's all, because it's also no, yes, I think it's all about how I how now why this specific activity, it's a good choice for them, or at least that they will feel motivated to do it, right?
Yes,
I
I think
don't.
that the word was the word would be they can relate to, that they can connect to this lesson
Yeah,
because
exactly,
of the.
because they feel that it's, how can I say it? They feel some that this belongs to them, because it's something that it's really related to children. The thing of drawing, showing, feeling proud of what they made. When the teacher say, "Oh, it's so nice! You are such an artist," that kind of things that motivate them and reinforce their confidence in them, and in English in this case, right? It can apply for any other subject, but well, here we are talking about English, right?
Mhm.
And I don't know if you want to add something, or we can
Yeah,
go through
probably
the
we can say
next.
the purpose of the drawing is not just drawing for artistic purposes, but it's for communication, because they are reacting to the text. They have to show that they understand. For example, if the text that they chose was B, I'm wearing a pink jacket. Okay, so they have to draw a pink jacket, not a red jacket or a brown jacket. So they are using drawing for a communicative purpose, to communicate with the text, to react, to show that they understand the text, but also when they, at the end of the lesson, they compare with their classmates, because if they compare with a classmate that chose the same text, but they see that the jackets are different color, or what is red is not the jacket, but it are the socks, for example. So they would like disagree or agree. So the communicative purpose is the most important part. Okay, if we don't have anything else, we can probably move on to the part about weaknesses and strong points that we can have. So who wants to start?
I can do it if it's okay for you.
Okay.
Okay.
We follow you.
Well, firstly, I want to say that this is, in my case, it's going to be more I don't know, theoretical or hypothetical, because I never worked with children in my life, but I work with teenagers, so I can say a bit about um, how it was my experience with teenagers, and a bit of what I can think it would be difficult for me or easier for me in working specifically with children. So to start with, I think that one of my probably with one of my biggest problem is that I have difficult with the management of time in the class, because, and this happens to me with teenagers, if I see that they are enjoying a specific activity or a game or something, I don't really like to say, well, okay, it's over, let's move on to the next activity.
This
I
part it
don't.
would be the drawing. The drawing, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Because I know, sorry, I don't know, but I'm really sure that they will enjoy drawing. You know, so that's some problem that I probably would have in this case with this activity, right? Because um, they will be enjoying it. They will be using English or etc. So I will find it a bit difficult to move on, right? That's for to start. Then another problem that I will probably have with children is that they usually uh, feel fear with me, because I don't know why actually, because I try to be really kind with them, but they feel a bit like, yo, no, please
So
don't hurt me.
the rapport would be
Yeah, so that would be a bit difficult with this activity, specifically because with children, because I don't know how can I say them, for to teach to young learners, you need to be friendly, look happy, etc. And especially with this kind of activities. And despite I try to be happy, like, hey, what's up, hey, they usually fear me. I don't know if the bear or something, I don't know. That it's another problem that they will have. And I can think probably with a few more, but uh, it's not the idea to take so long. But I think those are the most important problems or weakness that I would have regarding teaching your learners in this specific case, and in general too. And about the strengths, I don't know. Probably one thing that I can say is that I feel really confident about my knowledge while I am teaching a class, and when especially in this level that it's actually low, let's say, right? And that I I think that I very connected with technology, so I can use it to, well, as a tool to teach the class, right? And again, that's maybe too general and not specific for the activity, but I don't really so think I don't really think in a specific strength that I can say regarding this specific activity or the different parts of this lesson, because I never worked with children, so I'm not sure uh, in which situation I would be in a class with them, you know. And well, that's all for me. I don't know who wants to share with the class.
Fernando.
Well, I am going to follow you, Herman.
Perfect.
It happens the same to me as it happens to you, that I haven't taught young learners, so I am not sure about my strengths and weaknesses, but I do think that I can make a supposition or hypothesize these strengths and weaknesses. So, as weaknesses, first, I would say that keeping students engaged is or would be something exhausting. And I am not sure if I am a patient person with young ones, because I haven't had this experience, though I am empathetic as a strength. But I am not sure if I am patient with them. I should have to try it. Another thing would be problem solving, because young learners tend to have more problems or disagreements in the classroom. For example, fights, not fights, or disagreements, let's say in some way. They also may cry in the classroom, and some problems like this one may appear, and I am not sure how I could handle those problems emerging, because I haven't had this experience. Maybe some students falls and start crying, and they kick the other students, or they, and I am not as, I can't see myself in this situation.
So classroom management.
Yes, classroom management, patience would be a strong weakness. And another thing would be the ability to simplify the concepts while teaching. That I don't know how could I teach something in a level that young learners could understand. I haven't had experience, so I am not sure if I would have this ability to simplify these concepts. For example, while teaching clothes or scaffolding, these kind of activities we are referring. I don't know. Maybe I should try. Well, let's talk about some strength. Maybe communication and interpersonal skills, and would be to some point a strength, because, well, I am always learning, and I have these skills, and I know that I can easily communicate to people. I don't know about the young ones, but engaging them, I think that would be a strength, because nowadays with technology and with popular things, using popular resources among the students, among young learners, like the cartoon we used, that is really popular between them, and they are easily engaged with these kind of things, with songs and games and all these resources. Well, I say that I am an empathetic person, so it could be a strength. I don't know up to what point, because if you are too empathetic, you can lose focus on the lesson and focus on the student, and this could be tricky because it could work as a strength, but weaken the management, the classroom management, or the time delivered to the lesson. I don't know if all those are also positions, but organizational abilities, I think that would be, well, maybe a strength, because, well, as we are learning, we are student teachers, we have to be organized and we have to plan the lessons. I have never planned a lesson for young ones. Alexander told us a few minutes ago, at the beginning, that they plan the whole week. So the whole week is organized when you are planning. But when it comes to the moment you are delivering the lesson, sometimes plans are not you don't stick to the plan. You have to replan in the moment and improvise. So it could be as a strong point or weak point, because I am not sure about it.
Yes, we
And
just to mention, we forgot to mention that for this week, the objective was to, by the end of the week, students should have described orally a character. So we didn't accomplish that in this lesson, but it would be the goal for probably the next lesson. So as you say,
yes.
we should, I don't know how far we would be from that
Yeah,
objective.
totally. And I would say that the last strong point for me, my strength would be the passion for teaching. That, wow, it is something that could help me achieve the other, or improve the other weak points or weaknesses I have, is the passion for learning and teaching. So that would be everything all about me.
Oh, okay.
What about you, Alex?
I don't know. Yes, I have 10 minutes. The strong points, I love moving and singing and making emphasis, or like making sure that the students pay attention to the sounds and the words and the vocabulary. So I enjoy a lot that doing it with young learners. Another probably strong point would be that I think that I have a good rapport with kids, especially at this grade. Third graders are something different in school because they are not uh, as as little as K4 or first graders, but they are either teenagers. So they have things from two extremes. They are very active. They engage. They get engaged in everything very easily. But at the same time, they are more mature, so you can start discussing other things with them. They can start communicating. So I think I really enjoy third graders a lot. I think that you are still a little bit scared of young learners because you haven't had much experience with them, but they really
Totally.
love English teachers. So, and they love everything that is about moving and singing, so you can have fun with them. Difficulties that I will have for in that I'm still struggling with it is covering all the levels. For example, in this lesson we wrote the text in capital letters because in primary schools there is a very wide variety of levels. You can have students in 5th grade who are not able to read in lowercase letters. So the variety is it's bigger than, or is wider than at high school. So in this lesson, for example, yes, we present 3 small texts with sentences, but in reality, it would be students who cannot even read a text with those sentences in Spanish, or wouldn't be able to understand every detail of the text. So with some students, we would work at the level of vocabulary, just vocabulary, or something simpler, simpler than this. So that would be my something that I will have to have a lot, like put much effort and time to prepare another activity. I don't know what else. And I think I don't know. That would be probably the most challenging point, and the thing that I would enjoy the most about this lesson. Also, I another point that I have is that I'm used to, because I have 2 small children. I have 2 sons, so I get in contact with much of the contents that children watch and listen to. So and I really enjoy. I'm an adult, but I enjoy Disney movies and all those cartoons, even TV shows. So in that
They guide
sense,
you what is popular among their community.
yes, I watch anime and some cartoons like my students do. So in that case, I enjoyed working with small children. Okay, so I don't know, probably. Okay, so and I think we could probably also mention that I have some experience with young learners, but you don't. So in that sense, I would feel the same with teenagers, because I don't have probably almost 0 experience, just my practice with adolescents. So it's hard to think what would be my strong points and my weak points. But
Yes, besides teaching young learners, teaching teenagers and adults, there are 3 different worlds,
yes,
totally different.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned today that you work with students in jail, that it is another way, another thing, totally different from other.
Even adults out of jail, out of prison. Yes, each context is unique.
Totally. So we have to adapt our teaching abilities and skills to each situation.
And sorry, I should mention another big difficulty I have is to coordinate the topics and my teaching with the Spanish teachers. Because what happens in primary schools, you have all different grades. So you have all different Spanish teachers. That doesn't happen in high school, because probably you have 2 groups in 4th and 2 groups in 3rd, or probably all the groups in 3rd grades. So you can plan more or less the same topics or more or less the same material. But in primary school, it's very tiring, because you have the I don't know, the Spanish teacher in 4th is talking about indigenous people, and the in 3rd graders they are talking about, I don't know, food. So that is very exhausting. That is that, and the thing about the levels of the students are the 2 most demanding things in primary school for me.
I can imagine.
Yes, that is very tough. Yes. So I don't know, probably we have discussed enough, so we can finish here.
Yes, okay. This would be it. It was a pleasure. Well, we are going to meet in the future.
Yes, continue on platform. Okay, yeah. Bye guys.
See you.
Bye. Bye. Sorry.